And I mean, county commissioners spent a good chunk of time today during that meeting talking about how long it takes to get these test results back. And apparently the answer depends on where you go get tested in the county. Now, as you mentioned, Commissioner John Riley Price says that he's hearing from people that it takes 8 to 10 days to get their test results back when they go get tested at Ellis Davis Fieldhouse in South Dallas. Now, compare that time frame to other testing places, say in the northern part of the county, where the turnaround seems to only take 1 to 2 days, he says. Now, Ellis Davis does do 1,000 tests a day and is federally funded. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins said during today's meeting that the federal government requires the county to send all those tests from Ellis Davis to out-of-state labs and then wait for the results. So that's what's causing the delay.
The fault for that falls squarely on the state and federal government. We have been asking them since May to get us reagents so that we could do testing, 2-day turnaround testing at UT Southwestern and Parkland. They have gotten so bad now, I'm just going to be honest, that it is to the point where it is almost detrimental for us to have a site open, according to some doctors.
Now, the county commissioners didn't vote on anything in regards to testing today. They basically just said, hey, we want some more information. They want to know, okay, how are each of these testing sites in the county funded? Which ones are getting county dollars? And then how long does it take to get your test results back, regardless of which site you go to? So they're basically trying to get a handle on what's going on here before they make any decisions. And we'll, of course, keep you posted.